Yo, what is going on? What is going on, everybody? It is the Frontz, and we're here with the NXT review for today, November 15th, 2017, the go-home show to NXT Takeover Wargames, the most anticipated NXT event to date, and still, in my opinion, the show of the weekend. Survivor Series, yes, it made some improvements, and it's a better show to watch now than it would have been 2 weeks ago, but this is the show you must see this weekend with War Games, Almost versus Drew McIntyre, Laura Sullivan versus Cassius Ohno, the Fatal 4-Way for the NXT Women's Championship, and much, much more. We will have ourselves a heck of a show, and it will not disappoint. I am looking forward to it, but tonight was a pretty good show. We had 2 good matches. I believe we had 3 matches, actually, right? Yeah, 3. We had 3 matches. We had 2 good ones and then a squash match because Laura Sullivan was involved. And a confirmation that we will get into right now. Halfway through the show, we have General Manager William Regal in the back talking to Johnny Gargano about Johnny Gargano telling Regal he wants to prove himself, that he deserves to still be here. They don't have a clip of it on the WWE's YouTube page. I wish I could play that, but I can't, so I have to do as best as I can. Regal tells Gargano, I know you deserve to be here and everything, and he says Pete Dunne called him up or texted him about he is throwing an open challenge out to anybody in the NXT universe. And the match that we heard a couple weeks ago of Pete Dunne versus Johnny Gargano will be on NXT TV next week. I'm excited for that match. I know you should be too. Make sure to check that out next week. That is going to be a great match, and I am glad it's going to be on NXT TV. I don't know if that was the plan from the start or somewhere down the road after, wait a minute, we just can't, people are going to want to see this match, so we have to put it on TV. Yes, there's too much on NXT TakeOver to have that match on the TakeOver show, but I'm glad to see that it's going to be the match, the main event of next week, and usually the shows following NXT, which are taped from the arena that NXT TakeOvers are at, are just throwaway shows, but this is actually a must-see show next week, so make sure to check that out. I am looking forward to it. You should be too. And the show, let's get into NXT, which was a pretty good show. Street Profits versus Riddick Moss and Tito Sanvitelli was the first matchup. We had, first off, I thought, because I haven't get to say it yet, but Montez Ford has superstar written all over him. He has the charisma, he has the agility, he has the ability. This guy looks like when they break this team up, which when they go to the main roster, it will happen. They break up tag teams all over the place, minus a couple here and there. Montez Ford is the breakout star of this tandem. I can see him doing big things. So long as WWE allows him to, I can see him doing a lot. What that's going to be, I don't know. I'm not a person to be able to say he's going to do this and he's going to excel, but I just know that when they break this team up, he is going to be the star of this team. Let's see here. Street Profits start the match off hot, but Ford gets distracted halfway through, and Riddick Moss takes over. They beat him and Tito Sanvitelli beat up on Ford for a bit. Ford gets Dawkins in halfway through the match to clean it up. Angelo Dawkins starts to get some momentum, but goes for a couple splashes. He hits Riddick Moss. He goes to hit Tito Sanvitelli, misses Tito Sanvitelli, and Sanvitelli. And so instead of actually capitalizing on this mistake that Dawkins actually attacked and hit him, he goes and he gloats to Montez Ford, and he turns around into a nice big shot from Angelo Dawkins for 1-2-3, and that's the end of that match, which was an okay match. It did what it needed to do. It gave the Street Profits, I thought it should have went a little bit longer in my opinion, especially since there was only a few other matches and one was a squash match. So I think this match should have been a little bit longer, but I think these two, because especially since they did on their Twitter account just recently post a post-show video of the Street Profits dancing on top of what seemed to be Moss and Sabatelli's car. This feud is far from over, so we will see them probably in a week or two battling it out once again, and this is going to be a feud to build these two teams up to maybe battle over the NXT Tag Team Championships after everything with the with the 3 in the War Games match to be done. Next up, we had an Aleister Black promo versus Velveteen Dream, which that match, I am going to say right now, other than the War Games match, which will be the one that steals the show if they do it right, this match is going to be the show stealer for all the other matches. This match I am looking forward to out of everything that is not named War Games. It's going to be a good match. They also highlighted the Black match over and over, and the fact that he hasn't hit the Velveteen Dream with this move yet. So I have a feeling the match is going to have him hit the Black Mass and possibly win. We will see when we get there. I will have a preview and predictions of all this up tomorrow. Lars Sullivan versus Raul Mendoza. Raul Mendoza actually got a lot more offense in the beginning of the match than I thought he would. I figured he would go and start kicking and doing something to Sullivan and just get demolished. But he actually got a good bit of offense to start this match off. But of course, Sullivan hits him with a headbutt in the mid-air and then just starts beating the Jesus out of him. The whole bejesus out of him. 2 big splashes in the corner, then a spinning power slam, followed by a crossface shots by Lars, followed by the freak accident they call in his finishing move, and Lars wins in no time. After the match, Lars Sullivan starts to try and punish Raul Mendoza a little bit more, but Cassius Ohno comes out to stop that assault, and they have a nice little stare down, and Lars Sullivan, for whatever reason, whatever's going in his mind, he just starts laughing and just smiling and laughing. This guy right here, this guy thinks he can beat me. That's what I'm thinking is this guy is going to beat me. Ha! You'll see a takeover, and he just leaves the ring. Cassius Ohno, of course, watches him leave, and that ends that segment. Already went over the Johnny Gargano in the back with Regal talking about the War Games. We are going to play a nice little clip here because they do have it. The War Games being hyped up for all 3 teams, so let's get this on. If you are not looking to War Games before this package or after this package, then I guess you would not. War Games is not going to be for you because this match is going to be worth every single penny of the WWE Network. Here comes the hype package.
The Undisputed Era lives by a saying: do not start a war that you cannot finish. We have new NXT Tag Team Champions! Oh, wait a minute! That's Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly! This place, this world, this universe belongs to us.
When that happened, none of us expected War Games in 2 months. Or 3 months. 2 months. 3 months. It's 3 months, yeah.
Here on the NXT Tag Team division.
We're just getting started.
Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish. We are untouchable. Another ambush here at NXT. We are unstoppable.
Well, these men are here to change the landscape.
And we, not again,
Are undisputed.
Roderick Strong has come so close to breathing the rarefied air as NXT champion, falling just short. Strong realizes that in many ways he's at a career crossroad.
Of our era.
What does Roderick Strong need to do to get to that next level? I think join the Undisputed Era.
You guys want to come in here and you want to make your mark.
What?
Well, you're looking at the group that wrote the book on making a mark.
Sanity looking for a little revenge.
You're gonna find out that in this universe, what matters is the chaos.
Oh my God, it's the authors of pain! Razor and Akam! We haven't seen them since they lost the NXT Tag Team titles at Takeover Brooklyn!
Authors of Pain have chosen to take our little setback
Here comes Roderick Strong!
and make it into a set up.
Roderick Strong joining the Undisputed Era.
Yes!
What? The authors of pain now helping out Roderick Strong.
Yeah, they are.
Now this situation has become utter madness. At TakeOver Houston, these three teams will be in a triple threat match. In Wargames!
What?
3 teams, 2 rings, and 1 unforgiving cage. War Games.
Of course, out of everybody in this match, everybody's involved with this match, the one person who has any connection to War Games is Paul Ellering. This guy was in the first War Games. He was actually in the first War Games match. I haven't seen that match. I have to go back on the network and watch it. But he was actually a part of the first War Games. I believe he managed the Legion of Doom in a separate War Games match too. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure the second one. But that match is going to be better than anything you'll see on Sunday night. Even though the 5-on-5 men's match will be pretty darn good, and AJ Styles as Brock Lesnar will be good. But that match right there is going to be what everybody is talking about, and we will have a nice little talk about that tomorrow about what I think will happen in that match. Ember Moon versus Mercedes Martinez. This was the third and final match of the show. We do have the stare down between Andrade Cien Almas and Drew McIntyre after this, but the match between this was a good match. This was a really, really good match for just the entire NXT. Like, this was a really good match. You had them going back and forth most of the match. Reversals left and right, both taking control at different portions of the match. Like, Martinez got a nasty shot on Ember Moon after a spine buster and a missed enziguri. And then she paid homage to Eddie Guerrero, which has been the big talk because the death of Eddie Guerrero was earlier this week or last week, one of the two, I can't remember. 3 Amigos by Martinez for a third being a delayed suplex, which was pretty cool. For a 2 count, Moon stepped up with an enziguri and a Hurricane Rana, sending Martinez to the outside. She goes for a suicide dive. Can somebody tell me this? I really want to know this. When did the suicide dive start being called the Tope Suicida? Is it because it's pretty much, I think, the Spanish word for suicide dive, but is it because the name of the move is suicide dive, suicide? They don't want to have that in their wording. It's just like I've noticed it's been called Tope Suicida recently, and it's like, when did that start happening? This all ends up being like after a couple more minutes. Mercedes Martinez has Ember Moon on the top rope, and Ember Moon tries to go for an eclipse the first time. Grabs her and hits her with a running cutter, or like what Daniel McGinn is called a running Tower of London. I've never heard that being called out before. Moon hits a reverse to a roll up. Martinez with the roll up only gets a few counts. Ends up hitting the eclipse at the end, and Ember Moon wins in a pretty good match overall. It was great. It was one of the better matches I've seen for the women's division down in NXT for a while, other than, of course, Asuka versus Ember Moon at NXT Takeover Brooklyn 3, which was a great match. Post-match, you hear Nikki Cross's music hit, which, by the way, Nikki Cross's music, her version of Sanity's music is just downright creepy, sadistic, whatever you want to call it. That music, I wouldn't want to be walking down the street and hear that come up. I would just be going the other way. Then out came Peyton Royce and Kairi Sane. All 4 women share a stare down. And I don't know when I've never heard this call before, but Marvinella was this goes down in Space City. When has Houston, Texas ever been called Space City? Someone give me that idea, because I've never heard that before. And then, of course, Almas versus McIntyre's nice talk. We do have a clip for that too, so of course, Drew McIntyre comes out to talk about everything, about how he's finally almost finally got some cojones to actually come out to see him and fight him, but let's get into this.
Selena, the lovely fiery, feisty Zelina. You've been talking about success. You've been rambling on about mountains. I've got news for you. Your client's going to find out real quick when he steps into the ring with Drew McIntyre that I am the bloody mountain. And I am standing here right now asking you one last time, Cien. Come out here and face me like a man. Don't do it to prove something to me. Don't do it to prove something to Zelina. Do it to prove something to yourself. Come out here for once and face me like a man. Unless, of course, Zelina's not going to let you off the leash for the night.
And that is Drew McIntyre with the burn, too. It's like we're getting like towards Survivor Series and Wargames, and everyone's coming out with the burn to the opponents or to the other side. Just like, wow, with the major burn. Let me get through this. Yep. Then these two, then almost comes out and they start beating each other up. Beating, like, doing, you know, the grabbing each other and start punching back and forth. Like, you know, the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn move. Then, for whatever reason, Zelina Vega, which, by the way, most people don't know, she was a professional wrestler. I don't know if she wrestles anywhere on NXT, like, on house shows. She is a trained professional wrestler, so when Nigel McGuinness or Mauro Ranallo or Percy Watson's like are surprised that she gets jumped on top rope and does a splash or does a Hurricane Rana off top of it. It really doesn't shock me because she is a trained wrestler. She wrestled in TNA as Sarita, which she looks nothing like she did back then, but it's one of those things that doesn't surprise me. I know she can do this. I know she can pull these off, and it's not a big surprise to me. So then it's just something that, like, it's a little nitpick for me because I know she can wrestle. Anybody who knows her history should know she can wrestle. She's not just a business partner who's just going to sit on the sideline and just get up on the apron and distract the opponent. She can get involved and take a bump or, you know, do a Hurricane Rana or do a splash. Well, she gets caught by Drew McIntyre, and that leads to almost getting the upper hand.
Oh, come on.
Wow.
This Zelina Vega more than just a business.
Chop block to the back of Drew McIntyre's knee and almost just beats the holy hell out of him.
Chop block on the left leg.
And they cut out the rest of it, but he beat him down some more. Zelina Vega grabs the title as the music plays in the background. She's saying, this is what we'll work for. This is what you're going to get when you beat him at NXT Takeover Wargames, pretty much. And the show goes off the air with those two walking to the back and Drew McIntyre in pain, clutching his title. And that's the end of that. Wargames has been set up. We did not see, other than the package for the three teams, which I think it would have been cool if they would have had some kind of like hype video, like of them actually talking or something, but I guess they had that set up already. We didn't see the three teams for Wargames at all on this show, which I'm fine with, I guess. But that's going to be the show. We are going to be here. I will be here tomorrow for previewing predictions of Wargames. And then the next day, Friday, I'll be here for previewing predictions of Survivor Series. And then we have Wargames and Survivor Series this weekend. And we'll be back here on Monday and Tuesday for Raw and SmackDown and NXT next Wednesday. So... And for anybody who thinks that, I'm just going to be doing wrestling, I will be doing gaming again when I can actually get something that I feel comfortable with playing. It's hard to because of copyright problems here and there for certain games. You can't do anything with those. Like, I can't do Nintendo games except for, like, maybe Pokemon, but I have a different YouTube channel for that. So stay tuned. We will have more games as they come along. Because I'm hoping Thursdays and Fridays when this stuff isn't happening, when there's in a takeover, a Big 4 pay-per-view, or any pay-per-view, I should say, I could get some gaming up. But until then, we are going to be doing this wrestling thing. Hopefully you guys will actually give me a chance. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at the Frontz. Go to and I also am on Twitch at the Frontz0808. Make sure to go over there and follow me. And you can also subscribe if you want to too. But I will see you guys next time, and have a wonderful day, afternoon, evening, night, and I will see you tomorrow.